Welcome to my channel. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and like. The metallic corridors of Mars Station gleamed under artificial light, humming with the steady pulse of life support systems, like the heartbeat of a colossal spaceship. Dr. Ethan Caldwell, 34, with tousled black hair and bright green eyes sparkling with curiosity, stepped out of the medbay after a long shift. He scanned the holographic patient list, pausing at the final name, Vey'lin, a Sypherian diplomat, scheduled for a health check to join the Galactic Alliance's peace project. Sypherian? Another new species to figure out. Ethan muttered, scratching his chin, a confident grin tugging at his lips. 7 years on the station had taught him to handle everything from Centurion tentacles to Zorathian scales, but the Sypherian data was sparse, just vague mentions of psychic energy. He adjusted his navy blue lab coat, checked his medical scanner, and strode into the exam room. No manual? Guess I'll wing it, he said to himself, eyes glinting with excitement. The exam room was small, stark white, with a versatile medical chair at its center. Ethan activated the scanner, its pale blue light flickering to life, ready to record data. The doors slid open with a soft hiss, and Ethan nearly dropped his tablet. Holy! He blurted, instantly regretting the unprofessional outburst. Before him stood Vey'lin, a Sypherian of breathtaking beauty. Her skin shimmered a pale purple, shifting hues with the room's light, like a desert sunset. Large amber eyes, sharp and wary, studied him with keen intelligence. Her hair, strands of woven light, was bound by an intricately carved metal band, a mark of her diplomatic rank. Her form-fitting suit gleamed like dragon scales, accentuating a near-human figure, but pointed ears and glowing patterns on her hands screamed otherworldly. Dr. Caldwell? Vey'lin said, her voice clear but clipped by the translator, revealing the complex cadence of Sypherian speech. Ethan cleared his throat, regaining his composure. That's me. Welcome to Mars Station. Just a standard health check. Have a seat. He gestured to the chair, flashing a friendly smile. Vey'lin didn't move, her amber eyes narrowing as she eyed the scanner like it was a weapon. Your technology, it pales compared to Sypherian laboratories, she said coolly, though a flicker of curiosity danced in her gaze. Ethan chuckled, leaning against the table, arms crossed. Maybe not as fancy, but we make it work. Sometimes, the human eye beats even the slickest scanner. Vey'lin's lips twitched, a fleeting smile, before she sat, back straight, pointed ears twitching faintly as if listening to the room. Ethan activated the scanner, its lights sweeping over Vey'lin, and data poured in. Her energy pulse was stable, respiratory and neural systems flawless, exceeding Sypherian norms. Looking good, Ethan said, jotting notes. Now for a reflex test. Tap my hand when I signal, okay? Vey'lin nodded, her amber eyes locked on him, as if anticipating a trick. Ethan raised his hand, palm up, smiling. But instead of a tap, Vey'lin lifted both hands, her skin's glowing patterns flaring brilliantly, creating a swirling halo of light around her, like a meteor shower in miniature. The room blazed, and Ethan stumbled back, nearly falling. Whoa! What the? I meant tap my hand, not set off fireworks. Vey'lin jerked her hands back, her purple skin flashing pale green, a sign of panic. Her amber eyes blazed with fury, patterns pulsing like a warning. Fireworks? She snapped, her voice sharp through the translator. You requested the bonding ritual. On Syphiris, that's an invitation to merge souls, reserved for sacred partners. You dare insult me, human? Ethan froze, realizing the catastrophic mistake. The air crackled with tension, Vey'lin's patterns flashing like a weapon primed to fire. He raised his hands, trying to defuse. Hold on. I swear I didn't mean that. Just a reflex test, not soul merging. I didn't know Sypherian customs. Vey'lin shot to her feet, ears trembling, patterns glowing fiercely. On Syphiris, requesting the ritual without a covenant is a crime against the caste. I could summon guards, and you'd pay dearly. Ethan took a deep breath, his voice low and sincere. Vey'lin, I'm sorry. I didn't know your traditions, and I meant no disrespect. I'm just trying to do my job. Is there a way to finish this exam without breaking Sypherian protocol? Vey'lin paused, her patterns dimming, her skin shifting back to pale purple. She studied him, amber eyes still wary but softening. Another way? Do humans have technology that doesn't require such displays? Ethan nodded, switching to a passive ceiling scanner. Yup, non-invasive scanner. No touching, no glowing. Just stand still. He flashed a grin, lightening the mood. And I promise, no rituals in the procedure. Just science. Vey'lin huffed, almost smiling, but maintained her composure. She stood still, ears twitching, as the scanner hummed. The data confirmed perfect health, far above standard. Humans are strange, she said, her eyes flicking over him, reassessing. Primitive technology, yet arrogant confidence. Ethan laughed, leaning against the table. That's the American way. Don't need fancy gear, just grit and creativity. He finished his notes, then met her gaze, green eyes earnest. Done. You're cleared. But I'm genuinely sorry for the mix-up. If you're willing, I'd like to learn about Sypherian culture to avoid screwing up again. Vey'lin tilted her head, ears twitching, amber eyes glinting with curiosity. She stepped closer, her presence commanding. Learn? Sypherians don't share cultural secrets with outsiders. But your sincerity is notable. I will consider it. At the door, she paused, glancing back, a subtle smile curving her lips. Thank you, Dr. Caldwell. Perhaps humans aren't as barbaric as Sypherian reports suggest. The door slid shut, leaving Ethan stunned, a slow grin spreading across his face. He shook his head, muttering, Well, that's gonna be one hell of a mission. He glanced at the screen, Vey'lin's name still glowing, a thrill coursing through him. Mars Station just got a whole lot more interesting. The next evening, Mars Station's observation deck offered a stunning view of the Phoenix Nebula, its red and gold light dancing like cosmic flames, casting shimmering reflections through the wide viewport. Vey'lin stood alone at the railing, pointed ears twitching faintly, amber eyes lost in the void. The glowing patterns on her hands pulsed softly, as if resonating with the nebula. Ethan Caldwell approached, carrying 2 cups of coffee, his stride casual but respectful. Quite a view, huh? He said, voice warm, green eyes bright with curiosity. Makes everything else feel small. Vey'lin turned, her amber gaze sweeping over him, sharp but softer than the day before. Dr. Caldwell, she said, her clear voice filtered through the translator. I did not expect to see you outside the med bay. Ethan shrugged, offering her a cup, a lopsided grin on his face. Call me Ethan. Doctors need breaks too, you know. Try this. Vey'lin eyed the cup, ears twitching, clearly skeptical. What is this object? Ethan chuckled, leaning against the railing. Coffee. Humanity's fuel. Not poisonous, I swear. Vey'lin took the cup, sniffing it, her nose wrinkling at the unfamiliar scent. She took a cautious sip, then her amber eyes widened, patterns flashing like a warning light. Stimulant! She exclaimed, voice rising with surprise. This compound accelerates my energy pulse. Ethan burst out laughing, crossing his arms, eyes twinkling. That's how we kickstart the day. Consider it a welcome to the station gift. Vey'lin huffed, but her lips curved into a subtle smile, her skin's purple hue warming, patterns settling into a gentle glow. They stood in silence for a moment, watching the nebula. Its red-gold light bathed Ethan's face, highlighting his youthful curiosity, and illuminated Vey'lin's skin, making her patterns dance. Ethan broke the quiet, his voice sincere. Look, I dug into Sypherian culture. The station's database is pathetic. Just a few lines about psychic energy. I want to understand your customs, so I don't, accidentally propose a soul bond again. He grinned, eyes mischievous. Vey'lin turned, ears twitching, amber eyes glinting with interest. Sypherian knowledge is closely guarded, she said, her tone formal but tinged with amusement. Humans are often deemed unrefined per our reports. But your openness is different. Ethan laughed, scratching his head. Different in a good way, I hope. On Earth, we learn by asking questions and, well, tripping over ourselves sometimes. Vey'lin huffed, almost laughing, her gaze softening. Tripping? An apt description for humans. Ethan seized the moment, his voice more serious. Here's the deal. I teach you about human customs, like coffee, or how we joke to ease tension. In return, you teach me about Sypherian culture. A fair cultural exchange. Vey'lin tilted her head, patterns pulsing faintly, as if reflecting her consideration. A deal? She echoed, her voice sharp but intrigued. Intriguing. I accept, Ethan Caldwell. But be warned, Sypherian culture demands discipline, not human impulsiveness. Ethan's grin widened, eyes shining like a kid given a challenge. Deal. Tomorrow, station mess hall, 1900 hours? They've got decent burgers, and I promise no glowing required. Vey'lin gave a soft laugh, a sound like chiming bells, revealing a hint of warmth. I will be there. But if your burger offends my palate, I'll demand you perform a Sypherian apology ritual. Ethan laughed, raising his coffee cup like a toast. You're on. Their laughter mingled, the nebula's light framing their silhouettes, marking the start of a bond that transcended species. The next evening, the Mars Station mess hall was quiet, the nebula's red-gold glow filtering through the windows, casting a cozy ambience. Ethan chose a corner table by the viewport, where the Phoenix Nebula shimmered like an eternal flame. He'd spent the afternoon scouring the database for Sypherian dietary preferences, selecting a shimmering protein dish he hoped Vey'lin would like. When she entered, her pale purple skin glinted under the lights, pointed ears twitching, her lighter attire accentuating delicate glowing patterns. Ethan froze for a second, caught off guard by her presence. You're punctual, Vey'lin said, sitting with graceful poise, amber eyes studying him. Ethan slid 2 plates toward her, a steaming burger and a Sypherian protein dish. I keep my promises. Try the burger, but I've got backup if it's not your thing. Vey'lin examined the plates, ears twitching, eyes curious. She took a bite of the burger, paused, chewed slowly, then nodded. Acceptable, she said, voice serious. The flavor, chaotic, fitting for humans. Ethan laughed, leaning back. Is that a compliment? Chaos is our specialty. Vey'lin huffed, but her eyes sparkled, patterns glowing softly. Their conversation flowed, and Vey'lin explained Sypherian society, her voice formal but engaging. The diplomatic caste leads negotiations, ensuring peace across planets. The warrior caste defends our territories. The radiant caste controls psychic energy, including the bonding ritual. She paused, amber eyes sharp. The ritual isn't mere connection. It exchanges a piece of the soul, performed only with a chosen partner through a formal covenant. Ethan nodded, listening intently. Sounds heavy. On Earth, we connect through simpler stuff, like sharing a meal, or... He trailed off, blushing as he realized he was veering into dangerous territory. Or what? Vey'lin tilted her head, ears twitching, eyes curious. Ethan shrugged, trying to sound casual. Like feelings. Love, you know. Vey'lin frowned, patterns flickering uneasily. Love? Sypherians prioritize logic and energy. Emotions weaken the mind. Ethan smiled, green eyes confident. Or make it stronger. Stick around, you'll see. The air between them warmed, their gazes lingering, a subtle thread of connection forming. Ethan leaned forward, curious. Tell me more about Syphiris. What's that apology ritual you mentioned? Does it involve glowing stuff? Vey'lin laughed softly, a sound like ringing bells. You refer to yesterday's misunderstanding? The apology ritual requires harmonized light, a dance of energy to express sincerity. Not easy for humans, lacking psychic energy. Ethan grinned. Bet I could learn. Teach me, and I'll share the secret to a perfect burger. Vey'lin huffed, eyes twinkling. Bold, Ethan Caldwell. I may consider it. They continued trading insights, how humans use humor to diffuse tension, how Sypherians use light to convey emotion. Ethan described Earth, wheat fields under the sun, laughter in bars, and Vey'lin, though reserved, shared glimpses of Syphilis's radiant towers, where diplomats trained. The mood was light, like the nebula outside, until Ethan's communicator buzzed, shattering the moment. Dr. Caldwell, report to the control room now. Strange signal from the nebula. Ethan sighed, meeting Vey'lin's gaze, green eyes resolute. Duty calls. Coming with? Vey'lin nodded, standing, patterns glowing faintly. If the signal involves the nebula, I may be of use. They left the mess hall, their silhouettes blending under the nebula's light, unaware of the mystery awaiting. Ethan glanced at Vey'lin, a lopsided grin appearing. You owe me a light dance lesson. Vey'lin huffed, but her eyes gleamed with curiosity. And you owe me a burger secret, human. The control room of Mars Station buzzed with chaos as Ethan, Caldwell, and Vey'lin stepped inside. Holographic screens flickered with data, the beeping of machinery blending with the urgent chatter of personnel. Commander Rachel Monroe, a steely woman with silver hair and eyes sharp as knives, stood before the main screen, analyzing a jagged wave of energy pulses. This signal's unlike anything we've seen, Monroe said, her voice taut, fingers flying across the console. It's targeting the neural systems of every species on the station, triggering strange urges. Ethan frowned, leaning against the console, green eyes scanning the data. Urges? What, like breaking into a dance party? Monroe shot him a look, her expression grim. Not funny, Caldwell. Crew members are reporting compulsions to connect with each other, across species. A Centurion engineer tried hugging a Zorathian coworker. Some are having vivid dreams, like voices whispering in their heads. It's as if the nebula's messing with us. Ethan scratched his chin, his lopsided grin fading. Mind control? Sounds like a B-movie horror flick, but I'll buy it. Vey'lin stepped forward, the glowing patterns on her pale purple skin flaring with unease, pulsing like a warning signal. On Syphilis, she said, her voice formal through the translator. We have legends of the nebula's soul, an ancient entity that links minds across species. But it's merely myth, or so I thought. Ethan turned, eyes glinting with a mix of curiosity and determination. On Earth, we don't believe in myths until they punch us in the face. If this signal's real, we need to find its source. Vey'lin nodded, her pointed ears twitching faintly, her tone resolute. I concur. But if the nebula's soul exists, it could be an ally, or a threat. They dove into the fray, weaving through engineers and scientists locked in heated debate. Ethan parked himself at a screen, sifting through medical data for neural effects, while Vey'lin stood beside him, amber eyes locked on the energy waves, her fingers dancing across the console with astonishing speed. Her analytical brilliance, honed to parse complex energy patterns, meshed perfectly with Ethan's intuition and medical expertise. Look at this, Vey'lin said, pointing to a repeating wave sequence. The signal has structure, like a language. It's not random. Ethan nodded, eyes flashing. And it's hitting the brain's emotional centers. Like it's trying to force us to love each other. After hours of work, they traced the signal to a structure deep within the Phoenix Nebula. The screen displayed a hazy image, a massive sphere, its surface shimmering with patterns eerily similar to Vey'lin's, but far more intricate, as if carved by a civilization beyond time. This can't be one of ours, Vey'lin whispered, amber eyes wide with awe. It surpasses Sypherian history. Ethan checked the data, heart racing. If it's not yours, then whose? And why's it waking up now? He flashed a half-grin, voice teasing. Not an invite to a galactic rave, I'm guessing? Vey'lin huffed, but her eyes sparkled with amusement. Your human humor, she said, her tone lighter. We need a scout ship to get closer. Ethan nodded, turning to Monroe. Commander, give us a ship. Vey'lin and I'll figure this out. Monroe frowned but relented. Fine, but be careful. This signal's not as friendly as it seems. Before they could plan further, the control room door hissed open, and a Sypherian delegation stormed in, their presence commanding. Leading them was General Zarveth, a high-ranking member of the Radiant caste. His deep purple skin gleamed, patterns blazing like fire, amber eyes cold as ice. Behind him stood 4 warriors, their hand patterns flickering in readiness. Cease all activity related to the signal, Zarveth commanded, his voice booming through the translator. The nebula's soul is Syphiris's sacred heritage. Humans have no right to touch it. Your interference is an affront. Ethan stepped forward, arms crossed, voice steady but firm. If this signal's affecting all of us, it's not just Syphiris's. We're after the truth, not a fight. Zarvetha's eyes narrowed, patterns flaring, as if poised to strike. Truth? Humans only destroy. Vey'lin moved between them, ears trembling, her voice sharp. General Zarveth, she said, I respect the Radiant caste, but truth belongs to no one. I will accompany Dr. Caldwell to explore the nebula. The air crackled with tension. Zarveth turned to Vey'lin, amber eyes blazing. You betray Syphiris, Diplomat, he growled, patterns flaring brighter. Vey'lin stood tall, her pale purple skin glowing with resolve. I serve truth, not caste. Ethan glanced at her, green eyes flashing with respect, though he kept his tone light. Listen to her, General. We don't want trouble, just answers. Monroe intervened, her voice cutting through. Enough! We don't have time for this. Caldwell and Vey'lin will lead the mission, but on one condition: Zarveth sends an observer. Zarveth snorted, pointing to a young warrior behind him. Silvar, go with them. Ensure humans don't defile our heritage. Silvar, with pale purple skin and minimalist patterns, stepped forward, amber eyes glaring at Ethan with suspicion. I'll watch you closely, human, he said, voice icy. Ethan grinned, unfazed. Awesome, a new buddy. Welcome aboard, Silvar. Vey'lin glanced at Ethan, her eyes flickering with amusement at his confidence, but she stayed silent. The group left for the hangar, where the nebula's red-gold light spilled through the windows, bathing the small scout ship in a fiery glow. Ethan checked medical gear, while Vey'lin calibrated energy sensors, her fingers moving swiftly. Silvar lurked in a corner, eyes never leaving Ethan, patterns pulsing warily. As the scout ship launched, diving into the Phoenix Nebula, a strange sensation enveloped them. Red-gold light surrounded the ship, like a sea of cosmic fire, both majestic and eerie. Ethan sat at the controls, eyes scanning data. You feel that? He asked Vey'lin, voice low. Like something's watching us. Vey'lin nodded, patterns flaring uneasily. The nebula's soul, she whispered. It knows we're coming. Silvar snorted from the corner. Mind your words, human. You don't grasp our heritage's power. Ethan smirked, not turning. I grasp enough to know we need answers. Chill, pal. The ship plunged deeper into the nebula, the red-gold light intensifying, as if guiding them toward an ancient mystery. Ethan glanced at Vey'lin, a grin tugging at his lips. Ready to chase a myth, Diplomat? Vey'lin met his gaze, amber eyes burning with resolve. Ready to find the truth, human. Unbeknownst to them, deep within the nebula, an unseen consciousness awaited, ready to test their every limit. The scout ship glided through the Phoenix Nebula, its red and gold light enveloping the vessel like a cosmic inferno, casting flickering shadows across the hull. Inside the cockpit, Ethan Caldwell sat at the controls, sifting through sensor data, green eyes alight with curiosity. Vey'lin stood beside him, fingers dancing across the console, her pale purple skin's patterns glowing faintly as she analyzed energy waves. In the corner, Silvar, the Sypherian warrior, stood with arms crossed, amber eyes tracking Ethan with blatant suspicion. You're too confident, human, Silvar said, voice cold through the translator. This nebula doesn't belong to you. Ethan smirked, eyes glued to the screen. Doesn't belong to anyone, pal. We're here to learn, not claim territory. Vey'lin glanced at Ethan, her amber eyes flickering with amusement at his boldness, but she stayed focused on the data. An image appeared on the screen, a colossal sphere floating in the nebula, its surface shimmering with patterns mirroring Vey'lin's, but older, more intricate, as if etched by a civilization beyond imagination. This isn't our work, Vey'lin whispered, touching the screen, eyes wide with awe. It transcends Sypherian history. Ethan checked the readings, pulse quickening. If it's not yours, whose is it? And why is it calling us? He turned to Vey'lin, voice half-teasing. Think it's inviting us for coffee? Vey'lin huffed, ears twitching. Human humor, she said, but a subtle smile curved her lips. Sylvar stepped forward, patterns flaring, voice sharp. Silence, human! You disrespect this heritage. Ethan shrugged, unfazed. I respect the truth. And it's right in front of us. Suddenly, the ship lurched violently, as if seized by an invisible hand. Screens flashed warnings, and before anyone could react, a blinding white light engulfed the vessel. When Ethan blinked his eyes open, he lay on a glowing metallic floor in a surreal space. Walls shimmered with ancient patterns, and a chorus of whispers echoed in his mind, like thousands of voices entwined. Vey'lin knelt nearby, clutching her head, her patterns flaring then fading, as if wrestling an unseen force. Sylvar staggered to his feet, amber eyes panicked, clutching a small device. Where are we? Ethan asked, helping Vey'lin stand, green eyes brimming with concern. Vey'lin took a shaky breath, voice weak but firm. Inside the sphere. The nebula's soul, it pulled us in. Before Ethan could ask more, a deep, resonant voice filled the space, as if emanating from the air itself. We are the makers of life, it said, making Vey'lin's patterns blaze. Our signal fosters unity among species, but you are not ready to comprehend. Ethan stepped forward, unaffected by the whispers that rattled Vey'lin and Sylvar. Not ready? He said, voice steady. You're messing with our station. If you want to help, state your purpose, or leave us alone. Vey'lin glanced at him, amber eyes flashing with respect for his audacity. The nebula's soul replied, its tone deeper. We were created by the extinct to unite the galaxy through understanding. But our signal is corrupted, causing uncontrolled bonds. Ethan nodded, scanning data on his handheld device. Like the weird urges on the station. So how do we fix it? Before the soul could answer, Sylvar acted. He raised the device, activating it, causing the walls to shudder, patterns cracking like shattered glass. The nebula's soul threatens Syphiris! Sylvar shouted, patterns blazing like fire. The radiant cast orders its destruction! Ethan lunged, trying to grab the device, but Sylvar shoved him back, and the device's energy surged, rocking the sphere. The soul's whispers turned to agonized screams, echoing in their minds. Vey'lin rose, hands raised, patterns flaring as she tried to commune with the soul, psychic energy pouring from her. Stop, Sylvar! She cried, voice trembling. You'll kill us all! But she faltered, her purple skin paling, patterns dimming. Ethan caught her, heart pounding. You okay? Vey'lin, talk to me! Vey'lin nodded weakly, voice faint. I must stabilize the structure. If the sphere collapses, the signal will spread, manipulating the galaxy. Ethan spun to Sylvar, green eyes blazing. He tackled Sylvar, wrenching the device from his grasp. You're killing us! Ethan roared, gripping Sylvar's collar. Sylvar gasped, amber eyes conflicted. The radiant cast, they said it would destroy Syphiris. Vey'lin, though drained, stood, facing Sylvar, patterns flickering faintly. The radiant cast is wrong, she said, voice firm. Truth cannot be destroyed by fear. Her words shook Sylvar, who bowed his head, whispering. I followed orders. Ethan, still furious, saw they needed Sylvar. Help us fix this, and we'll call it even, he said, voice low but sharp. Sylvar nodded, eyes heavy with regret. The trio sprang into action. Vey'lin, despite her exhaustion, reconnected with the nebula's soul, guiding Ethan and Sylvar through signal adjustments. Ethan monitored Vey'lin's energy with medical gear, inputting commands into Sylvar's device. You've got this, he whispered, hand on her shoulder. Sylvar, now cooperative, stabilized energy flows, his patterns glowing steadily. The walls trembled, debris falling, but the soul guided them through the final steps. Connection is strength, it whispered, voice fading. As the sphere teetered on collapse, they succeeded, stabilizing the signal, the soul's screams softening. But Vey'lin collapsed, her patterns nearly extinguished. Ethan caught her, checking her energy pulse, heart clenching. You did it, he whispered, voice breaking. Vey'lin's eyes fluttered open, her purple skin faintly glowing, a tired smile forming. We did it! Sylvar stood silent, eyes downcast, grappling with his actions. They returned to the ship, carrying the soul's data, but Ethan couldn't tear his eyes from Vey'lin. Her radiance, the mark of her diplomatic caste, was nearly gone, her purple skin dull, like a star on the brink of fading. He took her hand, voice low. You saved us, but no retiring early, got it? Vey'lin huffed, amber eyes flickering with faint mischief. Humans, always saying strange things. The ship sailed through the nebula, its red gold light dimming, but Ethan knew their journey was far from over. The scout ship slipped out of the Phoenix Nebula, its red gold light fading like a dying ember, leaving a heavy silence in its wake. Inside the cockpit, Ethan sat beside Vey'lin, his green eyes fixed on the medical device tracking her faint energy pulse. Her pale purple skin had turned ashen, her glowing patterns reduced to flickering specks, like stars on the verge of winking out. Sylvar sat silently in the corner, head bowed, his own patterns dim with guilt. As the ship docked in Mars Station's hangar, Ethan gently lifted Vey'lin, striding swiftly through the metallic corridors, his heart pounding with worry. Hang in there, Diplomat, he whispered, voice rough but firm. I'm not ready to lose you yet. The medbay's soft white light did little to ease the tension as Ethan tended to Vey'lin. She lay on a medical bed, her skin's glow barely visible, patterns pulsing weakly. Ethan checked her energy levels, green eyes clouded with concern but voice deliberately light. You're looking better than yesterday, but no heroics just yet, okay? Vey'lin's amber eyes fluttered open, weak but resolute. I may never shine as before, she said, voice tinged with sorrow, ears twitching faintly. The diplomatic caste will not accept a lightless envoy. Ethan took her hand, fingers squeezing gently, eyes blazing with conviction. You don't need glow to shine, Vey'lin. You saved the station, maybe the whole galaxy. If your caste can't see that, they're blind. Vey'lin met his gaze, amber eyes shimmering with a new emotion, understanding, mixed with surprise. You are strange, Ethan Caldwell, she whispered, a faint smile curving her lips. But I feel safe with you. Ethan's heart skipped, a warmth blooming beyond mere curiosity. He wanted to say more but settled for a tighter grip, letting silence speak. While Vey'lin rested, Ethan and Sylvar worked in the nearby analysis room, poring over the nebula's soul data. Sylvar, now more cooperative, remained wary, his patterns flickering as he input commands. I still don't trust you, human, he said, amber eyes flicking to Ethan. But I owe you for stopping me from destroying the sphere. Ethan smirked, eyes on the screen. Save the apologies, pal. We've got bigger fish to fry. The data revealed the chilling truth. The nebula's soul signal wasn't just a tool for unity but part of an ancient weapons system, designed to either bind or erase free will, depending on its wielder. A faction of its long-extinct creators had installed a self-destruct mechanism, which Sylvar's actions had unwittingly triggered, spreading the signal and threatening the sector. If we don't stop it, Ethan said, voice tight, every mind on the station will be wiped, turned into soulless drones. Sylvar nodded, pattern steadying. I'll help. I must atone. Vey'lin appeared at the door, leaning against the frame, her skin faintly glowing. I am a Sypherian diplomat, she said, voice firm despite her weakness. I do not stand idle. Ethan turned, concern flashing. You need rest, Vey'lin. You've done enough. She stepped forward, ears trembling, amber eyes fierce. You're stubborn, but I'm worse. I'm coming. Ethan sighed, a lopsided grin breaking through. More stubborn than an American? Fine, but stick close, got it? Vey'lin huffed, eyes glinting with mischief. I'll consider it, human. The team prepped a scout ship, equipping it with tools to reprogram the signal. As they plunged into the Phoenix Nebula, Its red gold light enveloped them, a beacon to their fate. Inside the sphere, the space trembled, ancient patterns flickering. The nebula's soul, weakened, spoke through Vey'lin, its voice echoing in their minds. To mend the signal, you must perform a true bonding ritual, a soul exchange between species, proving unity's strength. Vey'lin turned to Ethan, patterns pulsing uneasily, voice trembling. Are you willing to share your soul with me? Ethan clasped her hand, green eyes unwavering, heart racing. If it saves us, I'm in. And I want to know you, Vey'lin, beyond just a teammate. Vey'lin studied him, amber eyes softening, then nodded, a faint smile forming. Then, I wish to know you too. Sylvar stood silent, amber eyes flashing with unexpected respect, focusing on his device. They began the ritual, Vey'lin raising her hands, patterns flaring despite her weakness, weaving a swirling halo of light. Ethan pressed his hands to hers, feeling a warm energy surge through him. Her light merged with his will, forging a bond like a shared heartbeat. In that moment, Ethan glimpsed Vey'lin's memories, Syphiris's radiant towers, the pressure of diplomatic perfection, the loneliness of rigid covenants, and a burning desire for freedom. Vey'lin saw Ethan's, Earth's wheat fields under sunlight, faith and hope despite loss, and a drive to save lives as a doctor. Their connection ran deep, souls brushing, and Vey'lin's patterns blazed anew, though not as bright as before. As the ritual ended, they collapsed against each other breathless, hands still clasped. You're not what I expected, Vey'lin whispered, her skin faintly pink, amber eyes glowing with emotion. Ethan grinned, brushing her luminous hair, voice soft. You're not bad either, Diplomat. A bit stubborn, but I'm into it. Vey'lin huffed, her smile warmer than ever. Sylvar bowed his head. I honor you both, he said, voice low. The nebula's soul spoke, faint but clear. Your bond has stabilized the signal. But it has awakened other spheres across the galaxy. Some are built to destroy, not unite. Ethan frowned, pulling Vey'lin to her feet. Great, more to-do lists. Where are these spheres? The soul transmitted coordinates to their device, far-flung and ominous. You've proven unity, it said. But greater trials await. The team left the sphere, returning to the scout ship with data and a new mission: locate and neutralize the rogue spheres. Ethan glanced at Vey'lin, her patterns faint but her amber eyes fierce. You good? He asked, voice low. Vey'lin nodded, ears twitching. I am, because of you. Ethan smirked, but before he could reply, the ship shuddered. A new signal erupted from the sphere, targeting Mars Station, screens flashing red. What now? Ethan muttered, scanning data. Vey'lin stood beside him, patterns flickering uneasily. A warning, she said, voice tense. Or an invitation. Sylvar gripped his device, amber eyes sharp. Whatever it is, we face it. The ship sped through the nebula, its red gold light blazing, beckoning them to a new mystery. The scout ship raced back through the Phoenix Nebula, its red gold light now streaked with ominous shadows, like a storm brewing in the cosmic fire. The new signal pounded like a war drum in Ethan's mind, screens blaring warnings. Vey'lin, still weakened, clutched an analyzer, her pale purple patterns flickering with unease. This signal, it carries intent to destroy, she whispered, ears trembling, voice tight. Ethan shot her a look, green eyes resolute. Whatever it is, we'll handle it. As the ship docked in Mars Station's hangar, screams and chaotic footsteps greeted them, a scene of terror unfolding. Crew members raced through corridors, some clutching their heads, muttering about strange dreams, as red emergency lights pulsed. Ethan grabbed Vey'lin's hand, voice low and sharp. Welcome back to Hell. Ready to figure out what's going on? The station was a maelstrom as the team arrived. A second, more potent signal from another sphere in the nebula triggered collective hallucinations. Crew, from humans to sentients, acted erratically, swept into vivid dreams of unity, while others slipped into comas, eyes vacant. In the med bay, Ethan examined an unconscious sentient engineer, green eyes darkening. This signal's not just bonding. he said, scanning data on his handheld. It's draining neural energy, like it wants to erase consciousness. Vey'lin, despite her frailty, stood beside him, analyzing energy waves on a holographic screen. Her patterns glowed faintly, but her amber eyes burned with resolve. This isn't the nebula's soul, she said, voice strained. It's a corrupted version designed to destroy. Sylvar, now loyal to the team, stepped forward, patterns flickering as he recalled. The radiant cast spoke of dark spheres, weapons sealed for their danger. Ethan crossed his arms, frowning. Then we blow it up before it blows us. Who's up for another nebula road trip? He flashed a grin, but worry lingered in his eyes. Before they could plan, chaos escalated. General Zarveth, disgraced after his betrayal, led a rogue Sypherian squad, slipping past security. They stormed the control room, where Ethan, Vey'lin, and Commander Monroe were strategizing. Zarveth's deep purple skin blazed, patterns like wildfire, amber eyes seething. You've defiled Syphiris's heritage, he roared, pointing at Ethan. The nebula's soul is ours, and I'll reclaim its data. Vey'lin stepped forward, patterns dim but amber eyes unyielding. Heritage isn't ownership, Zarveth, she said, ears trembling. It's responsibility. You betrayed Syphiris with your ambition. Ethan stood beside her, voice calm but cutting. Listen to her, General. We're saving the galaxy, not stealing your toys. Zarveth snarled, patterns flaring, and ordered an attack. Battle erupted. Monroe's security team clashed with Sypherian warriors, energy weapons crackling. Ethan, no fighter, used his wits, weaving through the chaos to hack the control system, disabling the enemy's energy rifles. Vey'lin, exhausted, raised her hands, patterns flickering as she unleashed a psychic pulse, disrupting Zarveth's link to his squad. Sylvar fought beside them, blocking a Sypherian warrior, amber eyes fierce. I won't let you destroy the truth, he shouted, shoving the enemy back. In a pivotal moment, Vey'lin faced Zarveth amid the chaos. She raised her hands, patterns faintly glowing, performing a miniature bonding ritual. Her light touched Zarveth, forcing him to see visions, a galaxy in ruin, species erased, Syphiris crumbling under his greed. Zarveth collapsed, patterns fading, amber eyes empty. I was wrong, he whispered, dropping his weapon. Security apprehended him, but the battle left the station scarred, screens shattered, alarms blaring. The dark sphere's signal grew stronger, like a monster's heartbeat. Ethan supported Vey'lin, worry spiking as her patterns nearly vanished. You okay? He asked, voice low. Vey'lin nodded, amber eyes resolute. I must go on. The galaxy needs us. Ethan grinned, helping her stand. You're trouble, but I'm not complaining. With Sylvar and a small team, they boarded the scout ship, diving back into the nebula, its red gold light now laced with darkness. Inside the dark sphere, the space was cold, unlike the nebula's soul's warmth. Black walls glimmered with distorted patterns, a nightmarish echo of Sypherian designs. An opposing consciousness, Dark Heart, spoke through terrifying visions, planets burning, humans and Sypherians divided, war consuming the galaxy. Unity is a lie, it roared, its voice like 1,000 blades in their minds. Ethan felt its weight, but his bond with Vey'lin shielded him. She gripped his hand, patterns faint, amber eyes fierce. It seeks to divide us, she said. But we are stronger. They worked as one, Ethan inputting commands to reprogram the signal using soul data. Vey'lin channeled psychic energy to reach the sphere's core, each effort dimming her patterns. Sylvar adjusted energy flows, amber eyes focused. I won't let Dark Heart win, he vowed. But Dark Heart struck back, flooding their minds with horrors. Ethan saw Earth disintegrate, Vey'lin saw Syphiris swallowed by shadow. Ethan tightened his grip, voice shaking. Don't listen. Look at me, Vey'lin. She nodded, amber eyes locked on his, patterns faintly glowing. In the final moment, as Dark Heart's assault peaked, Vey'lin raised her hands, her light erupting in a blazing purple flame, stronger than ever. We are greater than you, she screamed, her psychic energy merging with Ethan's will. Their bond, forged in the prior ritual, shattered dark heart, transforming its destructive signal into one of unity. The walls trembled, distorted patterns crumbling, and dark heart's voice faded. The sphere stabilized, the nebula's red-gold light returning, softer now. Ethan and Vey'lin collapsed, breathless, hands still clasped. "We did it!" Ethan rasped, green eyes shining. Vey'lin looked at him, patterns flickering back, a tired smile forming. "Together," she whispered. Sylvar stood nearby, bowing. "I honor you," he said, voice low. They gathered data, confirming Dark Heart's defeat, saving the station. The ship left the nebula, returning to Mars Station, but unease lingered. Data revealed other spheres still active, hidden across the galaxy. "We won this round," Ethan said, glancing at Vey'lin. "But the fight's not over." Vey'lin nodded, amber eyes resolute. "We'll face it, human." The nebula's light bathed them, a promise of trials ahead. 3 months after Dark Heart's defeat, Mars Station had transformed from a battered outpost into a beacon of hope. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair shattered systems, while Ethan and Vey'lin led efforts to refine the Unity signal, turning it into a tool for interspecies collaboration. Vey'lin, bolstered by her soul bond with Ethan, regained her radiant glow, her pale purple patterns dancing like nebula flames, though invisible scars from her near-death lingered. Data on other spheres, lurking in the galaxy, remained a looming threat, but Unity had taken root, culminating in an unprecedented interspecies summit. As artificial light blazed in the central hall, Ethan glanced at Vey'lin, a lopsided grin forming. "From a medbay mix-up to saving the galaxy," he whispered. "Not bad for a doctor and a diplomat, huh?" Vey'lin huffed, amber eyes twinkling. "Don't get cocky, human. We're just getting started." The hall brimmed with delegates from across the galaxy, Centurion scientists with glittering tentacles, Gleason merchants in opulent garb, Sypherian warriors with blazing patterns. The summit, convened to announce the nebula's sole discovery and Dark Heart's destruction, made Mars Station a hub of galactic understanding. Vey'lin stood on the stage, her skin shimmering, patterns weaving like the nebula outside. "Unity is not manipulation," she said, voice clear through the translator, amber eyes resolute. "It is empathy, our strength when we stand as one. From Cyprus to Earth, we've proven no barrier is unbreakable." The crowd fell silent, then erupted in applause, tentacles and hands intertwining in respect. Ethan stood beside her, trading his lab coat for a simple suit, his trademark grin in place. He stepped to the mic, green eyes mischievous. "Humans believe in building bridges, not walls," he said, voice relaxed but sincere. "Today, we showed no distance, millions of light years or otherwise, is too far to connect. And, thanks to Vey'lin for not calling the guards when I accidentally asked for her soul that first time." The hall roared with laughter, even stern Sypherian warriors cracking smiles. Vey'lin shot him a look, amber eyes torn between annoyance and amusement. A new Sypherian diplomat approached, her light-woven hair bound by a gleaming band. "Vey'lin," she said, voice formal, "you've shown Cyprus the path of truth. We apologize for Zarveth and the Radiant Caste. You are our guiding light." Vey'lin nodded, ears twitching, but her gaze sought Ethan in the hall's glow, a subtle smile forming. Ethan winked back, heart racing at their unspoken bond. After the summit, they stood on the observation deck, the Phoenix Nebula now serene, its red gold light a gentle whisper. Ethan held Vey'lin's hand, feeling the warmth of her purple skin, patterns pulsing softly. "What do you think about the future?" he asked, voice soft, green eyes curious. Vey'lin turned, amber eyes blazing like a galaxy. "I think we'll face it together, Ethan Caldwell," she said, voice warm yet firm. Ethan grinned, pulling her into an embrace. "American style. Dive into the unknown and win." Under the nebula's glow, they shared a kiss, not a bonding ritual with swirling light, but a human moment, raw with emotion and hope. Vey'lin's lips were warm, tinged with a strange psychic energy, and Ethan felt his heart sink with hers. The nebula sparkled, as if approving. Pulling back, Vey'lin huffed, amber eyes playful. Human emotions, not as bad as I thought. Ethan laughed, brushing her luminous hair. Welcome to the team, Diplomat. They stood shoulder to shoulder, gazing at the nebula. Mars Station, once a mere waypoint, was now a symbol of unity. Centurions, Zorathians, Gleasons worked together, sharing knowledge, building a future. Ethan reflected on their journey, a medbay mix-up, a soul bond, battles against darkness. It began with a mistaken touch, uniting two souls from worlds apart. Think there are more spheres out there? Ethan asked, half teasing, eyes serious. Vey'lin tilted her head, ears twitching. Perhaps, she said, voice low. But if there are, we'll find and neutralize them. Together. Ethan nodded, squeezing her hand. Bet on it. But I'm grabbing a coffee before we hit the nebula again. Vey'lin huffed, her smile brighter than her patterns. You and your strange fuel. Silvar, now a close ally, appeared at the deck's entrance, pattern steady. Still joking about coffee? He said, voice lighter, amber eyes amused. Ethan laughed, waving him over. Join us, pal! We're plotting to save the galaxy again. Silvar shook his head but joined them, gazing at the nebula. 3 souls, human, diplomat, and former traitor, stood as a team, bound by understanding. The summit laid the foundation for a new alliance, with Mars Station at its heart. Centurion scientists proposed a sensor network to detect rogue spheres, Gleason merchants pledged funds, and Sypherians, led by new diplomats, vowed to share psychic knowledge, a historic step. Ethan and Vey'lin were named interspecies ambassadors, a role they accepted with hesitation but resolve. I'm no speech guy, Ethan muttered later. But with you, I'll give it a shot. Vey'lin huffed, amber eyes blazing. You'll learn, human. I'll make sure of it. As night fell, the nebula's light bathed the observation deck, cloaking Ethan and Vey'lin in a soft glow. They stood silent, hand in hand, feeling each other's presence. The universe was vast, filled with mysteries and dangers, but they were unafraid. They built a bridge, not just between species, but between 2 souls once light years apart. A humorous misunderstanding had sparked a saga where love and empathy transcended all boundaries. Ethan glanced at Vey'lin, a slow grin spreading. You know, I think I like human rituals better than Sypherian ones. Vey'lin tilted her head, ears twitching, eyes playful. Perhaps. I'll consider agreeing, Ethan Caldwell. Their laughter echoed, mingling with the nebula's light, a vow to face whatever lay ahead, together.